Deconstruction.
What's up, everybody? It's the Hardy Construction. You can find us at hardyconstruction.tumblr.com, youtube.com/hardyconstruction, Facebook.com/the Hardy Construction with your host Comp and
Yellow Amphibian.
And today we're talking about
Stranger Things. We finally finished it. Netflix original.
yes, episodes 4 through 8. Did we see the first 2 episodes, or did we just see the first?
Yeah, we did. We did
confused.
the first 3 episodes.
It shows you how great the show is. I forgot what I saw. No, it's actually a pretty good show. Anyway,
you are the worst.
when a young boy disappears, his mother, a police chief, and his friends must confront terrifying forces in order to get him back. Well, somebody wrote the right fucking explanation of what this show is. Created by
Everything else is right.
Created by the Duffer Brothers. That would be Matt and Ross Duffer. Ross, it was only a break. Starring
Could you
Winona
imagine that
Ryder.
last name? Isn't that a weird last name to have?
It just reminds me of The Simpsons, their beer. Starring Winona Ryder, Millie Bobby Brown. Oh shit! Every little step I take.
Who's Millie Bobby?
He was the guy married to
that's
Whitney
11.
Houston.
Okay.
Oh, it's a little girl, a white girl. I thought it was a 50-year-old black man who used to sing and dance and was married to.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Whitney
Houston. I get you joke
because
now. It's a
with
great joke.
and the Natalia Dyer. Why did I think? Oh, I thought of the girl from Game of Thrones for some reason. Her name is something similar to that. Anyway, Millie Bobby Brown is a little English girl. It was a very charming young girl. If you ever, I actually watched it. Made me feel,
I love her.
Yeah, I'm sure. It made me feel strange watching the Stephen Colbert show, because not only does that show fucking suck, but I watched it because she was on, and she's actually a very charming. She's sort of charming in the way that who the hell is that actress that she reminds me of in the show itself? Princess
11?
Padme. 11 reminds me of Padme, the actress. Oh, jeez, what is her name?
What, Natalie Portman?
Yeah, she sort of has that same charming affect as a kid, you know, when they talk to adults.
I don't see this at all, but whatever. Go on.
She's sort of... Okay, so let me just explain. Millie Bobby Brown reminds me of, like, Emma Watson and Natalie Portman mixed together as a kid, because it's a shaved head from V for Vendetta.
This is seriously the most interesting thing you've ever said.
Thank you. I worked hard on that. I was actually writing a thesis about it. And, okay, so Natalia Dyer is Nancy Wheeler. That's the sister. Cara Buono is the mother, I think. Oh, she is one fucking hot MILF.
You think so?
You don't think so? I think she's pretty... Well, she's, you know...
I think Winona Ryder's a hot MILF.
Yeah. She's sort of a hot gilf by now. But there's David Harbour, who plays Jim Hopper, because he's hopped up on looking for justice. Oh, boy. Finn Wolfhard. He's the main character, Mike Wheeler. There's Gaten Matarazzo, who plays Dustin Henderson, which I believe is the kid with the teeth.
How come the kid who plays Lucas doesn't have a... like, he's the only one that doesn't have a link that goes to his name on this?
Yeah, he does. Caleb McLaughlin. Ooh,
no, but there's no, like...
Oh, so he's Irish then. Okay, good for him.
Is this his first thing?
You think that kid is he's Kyle MacLachlan's kid?
Maybe.
I don't know why that's not funny.
What happens in the red room after he gets? Well, you don't actually know.
He hooks up with like a hot chick, and he's like, "Damn, this is some good coffee. Get it?" All right, so no, he's actually in a couple of films. He's in 7 things. That was a very racist joke that Danny wrote for me. There's Charlie Heaton, who looks like an evil version of Jimmy Fallon, which I will take over the real Jimmy Fallon. There's Matthew Modine as Dr. Martin Brenner. Matthew Modine is the most famous role. He's from the 80s, but his most famous role is the cop.
He's one of those names that you hear all the time, and I have no fucking idea besides Full Metal Jacket.
You've seen him in everything, but his most famous role was in The Dark Knight Rises.
I don't even know what he was in that, because I only saw that movie once.
He was the police police captain, and then there's like a war that happens in the movie. Like, he's supposed to be a guy that like sort of lets the cops. He sort of like keeps his head down. And he becomes an embarrassment to the force because all the cops get kidnapped by the bad guys. Why would the bad guys kidnap the cops and keep them on the ground? I don't know why. Why don't they just kill him? Who knows? And then at the end, they just show his dead body, so they don't even bother. There's Joe Keery as Steve Harrington, who's sort of the 80s super typical boyfriend. But he's actually, I actually liked him in this. Rob Morgan as Officer Powell. I'm just going through all the cast. Anyway, whatever. So those are the characters. Basically where we left off from Episode 3. What did we leave off from Episode 3? Do you remember or don't you remember?
Well, let's see. Let's read the little thing here.
Okay, so
Joyce,
chapter
blah, blah,
3 was
blah.
Holly Jolly. Barb wakes up in an empty pool. So that's
Joyce is now talking to Will using the lights. That's where we left off. And, they find the dead body of Will.
Yeah, and that's when the fake dead body, right? So Joyce sees the creature actually come through a wall, and she's like going berserk. So basically, we're dealing with Joyce, who's played by what's her face, the thieving criminal Winona Ryder, and Hopper.
Maniac.
Okay, so let's just we're not gonna just go through every episode that we saw, because obviously we saw 4 through 8. But where we're picking up from is that they find the supposed
Let's
body.
Let's just cover the highlights here.
They find the body of Will Byers, and we end up finding out it's baloney, which I like. I actually love the tone of the show. I really do. I mean, I said it from the first one.
Filled with baloney. They filled it with like sawdust. They should have filled it with baloney.
You know, it's a weird thing. Apparently, a lot of medical examiners, if they need your organs or something, if there's like an investigation, they'll fill you with newspapers and they'll sew you right back up.
But what about termites and fleas?
Or
and
maybe there's a guy who really wants to read the newspaper, and it's suddenly inside of the guy's body. And
you know what I would love is if they filled me up with mothballs to make sure that moths didn't lay eggs inside me.
That'd be pretty interesting. Yeah, well, oh my God, it's gonna be real. It's gonna suck. Oh, I guess it won't matter for us.
Fill me up with cream cheese. Fill me up with cream cheese.
Oh, it's gonna stink even worse.
Squeeze me, and it will come out of all my orifices.
So anyway,
like toothpaste.
What did you like about this series as a whole? Like, what were things that stood out to you for this show?
I mean, I feel like we said that it perfectly captures the 80s.
Definitely.
And like that nostalgia feeling back when we reviewed the first 3, but it just gets fucking better. Like, it's so there's nothing. I have
no
only
complaints.
Good things to
I only
say.
have
Like,
I only have
amazing.
two and a half complaints about this series in entire.
I'm curious. Let's hear that.
There's a humongous like plot. What is it called? Not an unresolved plot, but like plot hole sort of thing where
Gap.
they'll take the gumption, right, to murder a guy who owns a guy who owns like a fucking.
Oh, but they won't
greasy...
murder the cop.
Yeah, they don't kill Hopper, but they hook up shit in his house. All that guy that ran that fucking restaurant, all he did was talk to a kid. The lady could have just taken the kid and that's it. Then you say, "Oh, we found him." Okay,
he gave her food too. In all fairness,
so maybe that's that's where they were upset. You think the lady was like upset that maybe he thought his cooking was better than hers, and that's why she. But
it might be a really protective...
that's where I'm, and I don't know why it sticks with me that bugged me so bad that they killed him.
No, it actually did bother me, but then I justified it as number one, they can't kill off such a big character.
No, I get that, but they shouldn't even put that into play. I guess they wanted to show the lethality of these characters, that they're...
I think that people knew where he was. He's a cop in like a sort of big...
Yeah, and I understand that's why they want to listen up to him, because he might be, they're looking for somebody. But it to me, it just seemed like an unnecessary reason to make them really appear as evil people. Because if this is a government-run thing, it's not like the kid was saying, "I'm an experiment," because obviously the guy didn't fucking know anything, but... This guy was actually walking around in their facility, and they didn't kill him. It was very bizarre to me. And then the second time they catch him, like, "Okay, we'll kill you this time." I was like, what? Anyway, that's the one thing that bothered me as a plot
I guess
thing.
That bothered me too. I agree.
So, but other than that, I mean, it's still whatever. He's a great character, Hopper. The other thing was the sort of quasi. I was kind of like worried about those effects of the creature. Some of them are very good. Like I think most of them are just CG effects. But they were really obvious in some parts. Like the part when she had him very religiously slammed up against the wall, and like he was for some reason I kept thinking of like Depeche Mode music and like other bands, and like it looked like a bad cover for like a metal band or something. It's just this creature face.
Actually, I thought something that annoyed me. Actually, when you're done, you
okay,
keep
go
talking.
ahead. Go
We're
ahead.
Listening to you.
No, that's fine. That's pretty
keep
much it.
Okay. The sensory deprivation part bothered me a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I've actually done that.
Oh, okay.
Like,
do you want to say why, or?
Well, yeah. What bothered me about it is like the whole point is you're supposed to like isolate all of you're supposed to cover all your senses, so you don't see anything. You're in like pitch black.
Right.
You're floating in room temperature water, and you don't hear anything. But they're all fucking talking to her and stuff, so that like negates the whole thing. Like,
yeah, I guess so. Why did you do it in the first place?
All she had to do is fucking like cover her ears and a blindfold and just meditate, and she could go to the same zone. But I'm just being nitpicky. But it looked cool for dramatic effect. But I just did it because I don't know. I heard Joe Rogan talking about it actually. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of him, but I mean, he was talking about it, and I was like, oh, what's that? And I started reading about it, and you know, it's just like a kind of meditative.
Which
thing,
was bizarre during that scene.
It was expensive as fuck though, so I only did it once.
During that scene, which was bizarre, I thought. Also, the only other time I've probably really seen a sensory deprivation chamber was in Daredevil, starring Ben Affleck. I was like, that's all I kept thinking about during that. I was like, huh. Anyway, but yeah, and I don't know why. For some reason, I was expecting them to actually. I thought the school would have a school pool or something like that. Because thinking of I was thinking of Prom Night. Remember we were discussing Prom Night with whatever her face was, that old 80s horror movie with the prom school, and there was like actual garages and a whole bunch of shit. And I was like, wow, this is like white kid. I was like, white.
Remember.
Oh, that was a great movie. School for like white children had a lot of stuff for it, and I was like, they didn't even have a pool for these kids. You think that's why they took the pool away once they had like multiple minority kids in the school? They just took the pool away. The white racist government.
They don't deserve a pool.
Like,
that's what they said. I didn't say that.
Could you imagine that? Did you know that there was like a college a couple of years? It was probably 10 or 15 years ago that they didn't allow. I forgot what school this was. I don't know if it was like a religious school or not, but they didn't allow interracial dating on campus.
Oh god,
fucking morons. Anyway. But yeah, I thought they were gonna put it in the school pool. You know what I mean? Which would have been more interesting.
That's what Jesus
visual.
wants, of course.
Yeah, but another thing is Mr. Clark. I liked the teacher who.
Oh, I love him. Did you see he was watching The Thing?
Yeah, I know. I'll get to that for a second. It was so funny because I was ready to go make all pedophilia jokes because he's all hovering around these three young boys. These three young boys
he's
are
like the coolest guy. Like,
right, and then awesome. I realized once he had an Asian girlfriend, he had a severe Asian fetish, and it made sense because he's a white guy who was into science, and he was probably probably why after that he was done watching The Thing.
He watched Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah. No, what's a proper 80s from 1983. He probably was watching Robotech, and he was trying to show it to her, and he thought she would be cool because she's Asian, and she's like, what is this shit, you know? He's like, no, your people made this, and she goes, I'm Chinese.
I love you. It's not a fetish.
I love you. And then he comes out in a yukata and a kimono, and she's like, what the fuck is this? Anyway. Yeah, I liked Mr. Clark. I liked his explanation of the is it called the underworld? No, not the underworld. That's
the upside down.
The upside down. The upside down. That's what they call it. The underworld is a film series starring Kate Beckinsale as a vampire who fights the wolf. Anyway, wolf people. I did like. I was just wondering also, like, do you think Michael Jackson, if he was still alive, he would have like invited these children to his house? Not 11, but he would have invited the young boys.
Come on,
he would...
no.
He
probably would. He probably would.
Let me have a party for you kids.
The best thing you could do is share your bed with another.
And they're like,
he'd have a flotation tank made for 11.
And they're like, do you think we could bring 11? No, she's all right. She don't need to be here. It's just you three boys.
He's scared of her. He doesn't understand that she's only an actress.
No, I think I was making the joke that he's not sexually attracted to her because he's a pedophile. You think he's in... let me just one more thing about Michael Jackson. You think he's in hell right now? And he's like he's forced to lick the butthole and a vagina of a beautiful woman every night? He's like... If
he actually did those things that he was accused of, then yes.
He's in hell eating a woman. He goes, this is awful. Woo-hee. And he's trying to moonwalk. Very good. Hilarious jokes. Boy, I can't stop. Anyway, so let's go into Winona Ryder. You know how long I was sitting on that joke to use it? I had no idea which movie to use it on. So let's go into Joyce Byers' Paranoia. What'd you think of her performance as a whole, Winona Ryder?
I think she's amazing.
I think she was great in this.
I haven't seen her in anything in so long, and
she was busy in jail. That's why
I'm so happy. Right, because
the only time where
I'm so happy she's back. She's great.
She. You know, it's funny if you look closely. There's makeup covering her fucking white power racist tattoos that she got in jail.
Wait, No, shut up. You're serious.
She has love and hate tattooed on her finger, like her
Did
knuckles.
she even go to jail? I thought.
No, I think she went to Hollywood jail, which was probably like a spa or something. But I think I think she was great in this show. She was sort of playing only one sort of role, the concerned mother, which is good. And she did have, a couple of funny lines, not funny, but, sort of goofy sequences. But the only time where I was sort of iffy is when she was having that sit down against, what's his face, Matthew Modine's character, Dr. Martin Brenner, where she was like, it felt like she was like acting. That was the only time where it was like she's acting in this scene.
When he was trying to reassure her?
Right, when he was like, we're trying to save these kids. And she's like, and I was like, oh boy.
Well, I think she was trying to come off cool, play cool.
Oh, I thought it was just crazy acting. And what's funny is behind the scenes, apparently Matthew Modine in that scene, like after she left the room, his wallet disappeared. Very funny. Boy, I'm funny tonight. Karen Wheeler, the mother of the show, she's sort of just like a confused mom. Even after she finds out,
dad is like the perfect '80s dad.
But but I can't believe him married to her. I swear to gosh, that guy, like I said last time, I think that guy was a camera operator, and they just said, "Hey, we didn't fill out the role of the dad. You want to play him?"
His face is like perfect.
He doesn't look like an actor. He just
reminds
sort
me of like the dad from Dexter's Laboratory or something.
Right. He just sort of looks like a regular guy that just walked on set. Like he's not even an actor. It's very strange because I was like, this guy's not even acting. They're like,
well, he doesn't have to do anything. He literally just sits there and reads a newspaper.
He's like, I bet you. What's funny is I bet you like in the uncut scenes, like they'll like why the mom is with him, and he just has a huge cock, like, and it's snaked around his neck.
Or like he'll be like screaming and like abusing his wife, and they cut it out to make him seem more appealing.
he's like punching her. He's like, don't make me do what I do to my other son. And he's like nuts and stuff. I don't know where that went. So Lucas Sinclair, which is a young boy played by Caleb McLaughlin, he sort of is an asshole, but I understand why he's here. But
he's the only one that has common sense.
Yeah, he has common sense, but obviously when you're watching a show like this, you're like, he's the asshole. He's the one that doesn't want to go along because we as an audience are watching. We know everything.
Well, because we know that weird things are possible, but in real life, I would not go along with this either. He's smart.
Yeah, he's smart, and which is another thing that's like once I'll get back to Lucas, but when Steve, remember when like he sees all that crazy shit and he runs out the house, would you have ran back in knowing that monster was going to come in? I was thinking, I was like, am I a giant pussy? Would I have just driven away? But he really did like.
I would hope that I would try to save. The
people. I would hope that I was like better person than I am, but I probably would have been like.
I know what I really am. I'm really like George Costanza. If there was a fire, I would push children out of the way and run.
Fire! But yeah, Lucas is, and you know what's funny? I really wished that it was a reference towards Predator, but I know it isn't. When there was the whole deal about the handshake with Mike and Caleb,
yeah.
And then they did the close up of the hands giving each other handshakes, and I was like, that reminds me of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers' handshake in Predator, and I have no. Maybe it's just because it's a white and a black guy.
This show, it could be like a cool little reference.
There is certainly, and I don't give a fuck what anyone says. There's a definite reference to Under the Skin. You know that movie with Scarlett Johansson. There's absolutely no whenever Eleven is like. Going, she's in the sensory deprivation thing, and everything turns black, and she's walking in that black world.
Oh yeah, I thought of that too, actually.
Yeah, no question. I think other websites. Because I was looking it up, I was like, that's one of the first things I looked up. I was like, Stranger Things, Under the Skin, and they were like, yeah, they were like, all people saying this. I don't know officially if it is, but there's no question. The only thing that Under the Skin has over that is Scarlett Johansson is walking around naked in those scenes. That's the
one then you find out that she's like a scary alien creature. So.
Which is fine by me. I don't care. They should still give. Okay. And what was funny when I was watching, though, when, at the very end, we're going to jump in and out around all this stuff. We're basically, who gives a shit what we're talking about anyway. But, the part, like, if this was, because they certainly had that sort of 80s ending where, stuff is left up. The main nice kid, obviously there's spoilers in this episode.
Well, I have a lot of theories, actually.
The main, okay, we'll get into that. 11, like, disappears sort of like E.T., the magical friend disappears sort of like Powder and stuff like that. That movie Powder that you're like... And then, like, there's still that haunting... The monster gets killed. The government guys are dealt with. but one of the kids is still affected by one of the creatures, which is always how like 80s movies are.
But we don't actually know that the monster gets killed.
Well, I guess fair enough. I mean, he gets powdered. But I was thinking the only way this would have been more 80s is if you know when Will Byers is in the car with his brother Jonathan, and they're driving. You know the part when he opens up the camera when Will opens it up, and they're driving. Yeah. And then you see, and then in the backseat the monster pulls up, and then it freeze frames, and then you hear like a song by Def Leppard, and it just ends.
And he leaps towards the car, and he just freezes in midair.
And he goes, and it's just like Stranger Things. Okay, I'm done with those jokes. So what were you saying?
My theories. These are my theories. Because it shows that Will has like a flashback, you know, to the Upside Down.
Right.
Whatever.
It's sort of a flash current, isn't it?
Flash current or whatever. Yeah, it's a flash current is what I mean to say. It's like he's bouncing between the worlds. So my theory is that everybody that was there is either going to somehow get sucked back there, or because Will has escaped, now it will be called to here. Because it's like a magnet or something. Like the Upside Down will take over this world. I think that initial creature is dead, but he's been impregnating all these people. Like, I don't know why he specifically chose him, but you know, when we finally see Barb is dead, like, and that pissed off a lot of people. Do we know she's dead though?
Her fucking didn't you see her corpse with the shit coming out of her mouth? That was pretty much a dead body.
Could that have been like eggs in her and she's still alive somehow?
She didn't look. She didn't look too well. I think they actually said that she.
Will though when we saw him.
Yeah, but he didn't look like she did. Like she had eyes open, fucking frozen. I think they just caught him by then. You know what I mean? Like it just recently caught him. Her. I think she was dead since that pool thing. And they, of course, but I think they actually said it like officially that she's dead.
Poor Barb. Her friend got her killed by being an asshole and sleeping with that guy. She should feel bad forever.
So apparently Barb really is dead because now it's like some sort of the writers have promised justice for Barb. That's what they keep writing. So
maybe justice means that
they'll bring her back. No, I think she's. Yeah. I think she's pretty much gone. But what did you think of Steve and Nancy and the Will Byers' brother? What the hell is his name?
It was Mike. It was
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Yeah, it was very maddening to me. Very typical 80s. That was like the weakest plot line in my mind.
Do you think John? Yeah, because it's the.
Of course, we want them to get together, Jonathan and her, but
Nancy.
I can't think of her name. Nancy, but
I'm sure by season 2 it'll happen. I'm sure that's what happened because Steve's not horrible. I actually understand why he went. You know, he was sort of this asshole jock and. He saw that. I think getting some of that Wheeler vagina sort of fixed. Yeah, it made him become a better person. So that shows you, 16-year-old girl fixes his mind or something. I don't know why it doesn't happen.
Only when you're also 16, though.
That's
if
true.
If you're older than 16, then it's no good.
That's probably why she went back with him because he had a big fucking schlong. Because he's guy. Get it?
That's my public service announcement. If you're older than 16, 16-year-old vagina is off limits.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Listen to him. But yeah, so I think that was sort of everybody was expecting her to go back with him. But I think for the first season, yeah, that's kind of how it is. They want this is I guess they're moonlighting. They're trying to keep away the guy from the main girl, and that makes sense. But Jonathan,
when people
Byers,
ask how we got together, they'll have a great story.
They'll tell it around their grandchildren, and then they'll who gives a shit. Yeah, so it sort of is that the 16-year-old 80s girl movie sort of that was her storyline, but they, you know, carefully scripted it.
Her friend killed.
Yes.
And then
I got a question. Friends. What was Will Byers bleeding from anywhere at the beginning of the first episode? Because we find out that the monster is attracted to blood, but
they were saying maybe he cut himself when he fell off the bike.
Okay, all right, maybe, or maybe
who knows?
So yeah, that storyline sort of worked itself, where it did become that '80s thing where the characters became badasses, but that the actress who plays Nancy, she's a very good actor. Actually, I'll give her that.
I like her.
She's so thin and frail. I couldn't believe. Like, I wanted her to shoot that gun and fly backwards. You know, like Will Smith did in Men in Black, because she's so thin.
She looks fine. She looks fine.
Anyway, what did you think of the main three boys in the show, which is Lucas, Dustin, and Mike? Their relationship with each other.
Dustin is definitely my favorite. I think he's everyone's favorite.
Yeah,
actually.
there's like this adorable drawing of the character. You can find online. They just do this sort of cartoonish version of him, and he just has like the really squinty eyes and like that sort of his lip, because it has that mouth thing
He's
going
missing
on.
the teeth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the most adorable drawing of a fictional character, and it's like really what the character
follow
looks like.
all these like Stranger Thing pages now on Facebook and shit.
Oh, good. And I was so glad they picked like the perfect two kids to be those bullies. And heck, making him piss his pants, that was great. Oh, that was the other thing that I had a problem with growing up. When the bullies came up to him and he was pulling the knife on him. And I'm sure that's because we did see that happen. And like I remember that from, what was that film based by Stephen King? Stand By Me?
Firestarter? Oh.
No, Stand By Me, when the kids were like... Did you ever see Stand By Me? That was great. That's sort of what this...
Where they're walking on the train tracks and they...
Yeah, this is very... This show is definitely like referencing that one too. But, the asshole was like pulling knives on him. I think it was Kiefer Sutherland was in there too. And, yeah, I was just so...
When he's not a vampire, he's a bully.
I was so pissed at those fucking bully kids pulling out knives, and I was just like, oh, God, please throw them over that fucking ledge. That was the first time, the effect, I thought that shit looked really, like, awful. When he was flying in the air, and he was like, and he's flying upward, and I was like, oofa. I was like, this looks bad.
I loved when he pissed his pants, though. That was great.
That was great, yeah, because he's a piece of shit, and he broke his arm, too. She should have made all four of his limbs go backwards, and he would have to, like, crawl like a fucking animal or something. God, I hate that.
She's not a barbarian like you. That
was good, yeah, she's worse. What are you talking about? But, yeah, she showed kindness to him, even though she should have done worse. But that kid's very well cast as a fucking punk bastard, and I'm sure he'll come back and try to do worse in season 2.
I wouldn't. I was scared shitless.
I was very surprised when she went full on Tetsuo. I was happy, believe me. But the first time when she snapped that guard's neck and killed him. Yeah. But then at the end, when she went full on Tetsuo from Akira, I refused to call it Akira.
That was so
Akira,
cool.
Yeah, she made like their internal organs like bleed. Although
I was talking about when the van went flying up. That was like my favorite.
Oh, that was great
scene.
too. Yeah, that was cool. And then you can really tell it was green screen in that. I don't know what my problem is with special effects in films, but I loved it.
Rewatch this.
I thought it was great. But yeah, when she killed all those guards that were there to get them, she killed that Ice Queen woman, the one who killed the. I loved it because I hated that woman. I just hated her. So that was good acting from that lady too, but she just fucked them all up.
You didn't like her fries as much as you liked the other guy's fries.
That's clever. I don't know what that means. They just said clever out of like a for whatever reason.
You liked Benny's fries better than her fries, so therefore you were happy when
okay. Oh boy.
Because she shot Benny.
Hopper's role. What did you think of Hopper altogether?
He's awesome. He's one of my favorite characters. Actually, like every character in the
show. Yeah, they all really are really interesting.
There's really nobody in the show that I dislike.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why Martin Bremer, like I felt like it was sort of unnecessary for them to look so evil when it's obviously they were obviously doing some psyops MK Ultra shit, which is in itself pretty fucking evil.
It's basically like Firestarter or what they're doing.
Right. And having them killed, I'm telling you, that chef killing but not Hopper stuff really bugged me because it was inconsistent. But anyway, they didn't really need to do that because them kidnapping that lady's child, because I think her name is actually Jane Ives. They actually say it on the IMDb. So they took her when she was third trimester. Do you know how many months that is? I don't know what third trimester.
That's like 6 to 9 months.
Okay, I thought she said 3 weeks, and I was like, did they take an embryo out of a lady and like grew up? And I was like, oh, third trimester. I think Hopper's great. He's sort of, they need him to be that, asshole but likable character.
One thing though that I also had a theory is, okay, so there's 11. What about 1 through 10? Do you think they're there?
That's what I bet you they'll do that the next season. They'll have them. Because I gotta wonder what this show, because they're not just gonna fight an alien force unless it's gonna be a show that builds up to them fighting constant aliens.
If the Upside Down takes over the regular world.
I thought a cool thing is if they actually spent the next season all in the Upside Down world if the kids had went there, but I guess I'm a shitty writer. But imagine if they kind of continued that kids adventure thing, because it was certainly when the kids were running away from the government guys, that was definitely like adventure Goonie style film. And if the three kids were stuck in the upside down world navigating it, like how fucking awesome would that show be? And apparently
they would fucking die though.
Yeah, but whatever. They'll find some way to write themselves out of it. But the kids, they're shooting. Obviously, I think apparently they're shooting it now. They're shooting it in October for 2 months. The next season, yeah, which makes sense because, like I think I told you before, they must shoot shit quick for the show if they have to keep it because
they're gonna grow up.
They're gonna grow up, and then all of a sudden, like. It's going to be like Finn Wolfhard, and his face isn't going to grow correctly into his head. It was so funny because people are saying that he looks feminine and 11 looks like masculine. And then you're going to see Lucas. He's going to be, hey, bitch, get over here! And he's just going to be yelling and stuff.
You're going to see Dustin, he's going to be like fucking 6 feet tall and like 200 pounds or something.
And gynecomastia and huge teeth coming out of his head the wrong way and shit.
Imagine, his teeth don't grow in, but when they do, they grow in, really huge, twice the size of normal teeth.
They should have made it that, when Finn kissed 11, I wish I was as bold. I didn't have any adventures Did you have any adventures as a child, or no?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I had nothing. I didn't do nothing. Oh, well, that was because I was like a 500-pound kid, so I guess I didn't really have friends. They should have made it because he even had the balls to kiss a girl. Because I remember, as a kid, I was just scared of every I was just so. I'm gonna kill him. Anyway, Mike Wheeler
probably have killed yourself.
They should have shown. They should have had Mike Wheeler. When he kissed 11, and he should have just automatically figured out he was homosexual, and then he just trying to hit on Lucas. That would have been great.
Or or her first instinct is to just explode his head.
Okay, I'm not gonna make the jokes I'm gonna make. I'm gone as far as I can with that shit. Yeah, but Hopper's great. Is there anything else we can cover with the shows? What are you expecting from season 2? Because apparently they're gonna. You're right about the 1 through 10. I'm sure they're gonna show that. I'm sure they're gonna show other psychic kids if they become like the villains of season 3 or something like that. I'm trying to figure out how long they can pull this show out until those kids grow up.
Stupid asshole Matthew Modine might still be alive.
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't show his body, so I'm pretty sure they didn't kill him because you did see that car pick up Hopper at the end, unless there's Matthew Modine's bosses in there somewhere. And they still need to have resolution between Matthew. I'm sure there'll be some arc where Matthew Modine's character sacrifices himself for 11, to show he's a good guy, because that's how they usually do that. Huh?
Well, maybe he'll get back somehow. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll find some fucking way to resolve that. But yeah, I gotta figure.
Nervous though for the second season because
you think it's gonna have one of those? They're gonna treat it supposedly like a sequel, like it's gonna be a second film in the series instead of just being because this series alone literally is, almost is like an 8-hour film. Like, it feels like a film that we just saw for 8 hours straight that has, a beginning, middle, and end, like any typical 80s films, because there's a lot of 80s films that don't have, resolutions. This sort of doesn't have a resolution, a full resolution.
They already have the names of the episodes. Oh, my God.
And they have
second season.
They have 3 characters that are going to come next season. I was, going to be I don't want to read any spoilers for next season, but who gives a shit? Okay, so here's what they're saying. This is from Paste Magazine. As for the description of this trio, Max is supposed to be a 13-year-old tomboy who likes skateboarding. She has a difficult relationship with her stepbrother, Billy. Roman, whose gender hasn't been disclosed, let me guess Roman, that sounds like a female name, is described as a man or a woman in their 30s who is seeking revenge after a tough childhood and a mother with a drug addiction. As for Billy, he's described as a 17-year-old who steals people's girlfriends and drives a black Camaro. Per a THR,
Wait, so
Billy
are these this has nothing to do with the original characters?
These are 3 new characters that are going to be next season. Per The Hollywood Reporter, THR, Billy has a violent and unpredictable nature that shows itself to the closest to him, especially the ones who are younger than him. So I don't know what that means, but I'm sure Max already sounds like a character who's going to be super girl power, but bad, like Hollywood, bullshit girl. Because 11 didn't have to be oh, I'm this, I'm that, bullshit girl power crap. She was just a strong female character. They don't need to knock it over the head. But I'm afraid that's what they'll do with Max. It's sort of like what they do with Barb. All these people started championing Barb, and I was like, what did she do besides cut her hand open? I was like, she didn't do anything. But people were saying she was the great. Yeah, that's what they loved her. She was their hero. But okay, so as the season's
She
tagline
had cool
explains,
fashion sense.
when terrifying supernatural forces once again begin to affect Hawkins, they realize Will's disappearance is only the beginning. So I assume that, because when he spat out that eel, I mean that slug at the end, I'm sure that's more of that creature, like more of those
You should
creatures
have just
coming out.
asked fucking Hagrid or something from Harry Potter to help him. That happens to Ron.
That's true. Did he have that big alien cock in his mouth? That BAC? Because that was a huge schlong, and then very funny. You can hear my jokes already.
You're on a
going to shit right
you're
now.
on a roll today.
I'm
You
really on a
are.
roll. A roll with cream cheese and jelly. Oof, even that one was horrible. But what are you hoping to see in season 2?
I just hope they don't fuck it up. That's all. Anything
fair
they
enough.
do, as long as they don't fuck it up, I'm happy.
Yeah, the Duffer Brothers did a very good job with this. It was so fun. I was reading that they originally wanted to direct the remake of It, but this is when they were sort of nobodies. Not nobodies,
It's a shame,
but
because I'm sure it will be better than whatever monstrosity we're gonna see.
So, but then they said no, and so this was sort of their answer to that film. So I bet you Stephen King was probably watching this and going, "Oh, I would have put that orgy scene right here with the little boys and the girl," because he did that in It, remember? So that's too. Oh boy! All right. So Danny, what rating would you give this season of Stranger Things?
I'm gonna give this season a 10 out of 10.
Yep.
Yeah, I give it a 10 out of 10. Wait, you know what? I gotta think of a good one. Why don't you do it, and I'll think of a good one.
No, you already started, so you have to. We have to wait in this horrible silence.
Okay,
because you're
okay.
such a fuck
I'm
up.
gonna give this a 10 out of 10.
Oh boy! Wow, this is fabulous. This is
10
great.
out of 10.
Oh, but listen to this guy's acting. Danny is such a good. Did you go to
finding-
improv school? Okay.
Hold on. 10 out of 10. Finding your dead son's body, and it's filled with sawdust, and that's not even funny what I'm gonna say. Well, we're just gonna go with that.
Okay, I'll give this an 8 or a 9 out of 10. 8 or 9 out of 10, wasting precious Christmas lights to talk to a disembodied child. With that, Danny, what's the final word?
Green grapes, red grapes.
The Horror Deconstruction.